Welcome to Vibe Unit, everyone. This is a Sunday session. We get together with musicians here every week, and we talk about what we're doing with our 107. If you like what you see here, you can get a hold of us, media@vibeunit.com.
Session.
This is 107, right? Oh, 108.
108.
Yes.
Oh, no! I got it wrong?
Hey,
I just said it right and then got
session
it wrong.
55, I think, was wrong, and it stuck with me because I did that.
Oh, no. So that just jinxed
He
me
remembers
forever
which
is what
one.
you're trying to tell
You'll
me.
just remember 108 for the rest of your life, like me, with 55.
All right. Well, that's great. This is session 108. Where was I going with this?
Well, you were telling us about what we do here at Vibe
Oh,
Unit.
yeah. So what we do here, you're about to find out because we're about to do it for you.
Yep. And also, we want to mention the patron and the
Yeah.
people
So
who
we
donate.
want to thank our donors. We had an awesome week this last week trying to solve a bunch of technical problems around here, and people really stepped up big. So we have the donor list that we've been putting up, and we'll go ahead and show that. But there are also names that are not on this list, and you will be, and we appreciate you.
And I want to mention them directly, actually.
that.
My family actually contributed, and very thankful to that. They helped us solve a big problem. We had some outdated hardware, and that was huge for us. And then also, a friend of the show, Katie Orsini, she comes on and she plays in the band Silhouette Plane Project. And I want to send a special thanks to her as well.
Awesome. Okay. I'm glad that we have the opportunity to thank all these people. Like I said, I wish everyone's names were on the list, but we will take care of that. What else? The livery open mic is tonight. Before I forget, if you're not doing anything tonight, come out to that. We're going to be playing some songs. Wes is here today. Emmy's here. Mike's here. I think all of us are planning on doing something tonight, right? You have something. Yep. We have something. Yeah. So it's going to be a good time. If you're not doing anything, come out. If you're trying to play, 4:30 is the sign-up time. 5 o'clock is performances. 10-minute slots. So
Yeah, it'd be cool to see a lot of familiar faces from the Vibe Unit community out if you aren't doing anything. Come on.
yeah, absolutely. So we're probably going to keep it a little bit concise today because it's like 3 o'clock right now.
Yeah.
So, and I'm trying to get over there probably by like 4-ish.
Yeah. And I actually put some thought into what we're going to work on today,
Nice.
which isn't typically the case around here. We usually make it up as we go, and we are still doing a fair share of that with what we have. But I brought my tracker in, and I made a couple tracks this week, spent a lot of time just really thinking about the way the mix works and all that, and I'm really excited to share that.
Cool. Yeah, we talked a little bit earlier in this week about like it's hard to, for at least for me, to always just kind of just invent something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like even if there's a structure, it could be the most basic of things. I just something to kind of work off. It feels a lot
I don't know.
easier to make something happen when you have a couple of people. When it's like, well, let's start here and go off of that. And so
Well, I
this
don't
is great.
Know how we're perceived by the community. We haven't really reached or received much feedback on this part, but sometimes it might seem like we're making it up as we go, and we are to some bit, but I guess there's a lot of work that's put in beforehand.
Well, you're kind of
just
like pulling from like the
butt.
reserves in a way, and eventually you kind of run out of things that sound original because they're not anymore. It's like I'm just repeating the same stuff now.
Yeah.
I do a lot of that.
And a fair share of music does lend itself to being able to just improvise like that, but man, it sounds so good when you actually have a plan.
Yeah,
It's the
that's true.
difference between making something up in the spot. It can sound muddy, and sometimes people overlap and stuff, but when you have a plan set in place, it sounds really, really tight, I guess is the word that
You've kind of
musicians
got.
use.
Well, you showed us two before the stream, but
Yeah.
the one that we were playing like most currently, I guess that's like basically what, like a two? Is that like two sections, two patterns?
Well, it does
Maybe
kind of
three.
feel that way. It's 3 patterns. I in my head I'm starting to say verse A, like type A, and then there's verse B.
What is
like
verse
type
B supposed to be?
Verse B is
Should
when
we-
it changes the rhythm. I can display them.
Is that when you start doing the glitchy thing?
I mean,
Yeah, here.
I
That's.
start doing the glitchy thing right away, I think.
Oh,
But
well.
from your perspective, it might be that it seems that is the case. In my mind, everything is glitchy.
Fair enough.
That's my point.
Well, we could get into it then.
Yeah, this is the first
Do,
section.
hold on. Do we want to just play just what the bass layer is first?
Sure.
Just so that's.
Oh yeah, then you can hear. That sounds good.
Everybody can hear that, and then after that's done, then we'll. Do what
Yeah,
we're
and
gonna do.
And I won't mess with anything. I'll just let it run.
Okay.
So this is sample-based music, 2023. That was extra noise. Sounded cool though.
Dude.
That's kind of what I was interpreting as part B.
It goes into more of a drive. The kick is real on the, 4 on the floor almost. Or maybe on the 1 and the 3. 1, 2, 3. This is going into part C. Right here. This is down tempo sort of. With the filter on that synth. Yeah.
The reverb return's really stacking up too.
Oh yeah.
There's like an additive thing going on.
It's like the vaporwave aesthetic. And back to part A. And in my thought with this whole thing was to be very conscientious of fills and how do you lead the energy with the last section of the part of the section. So if you're listening to this, you might notice that it's not jarring getting into the parts. I was very, I guess you could say, intentional about how I developed that last, like, I'd say like 2 bars of the patterns. So that's why, like, at the end of that section you just heard, it brings in some elements from the first pattern to kind of like reset your mind into like, okay, where are we headed? Mm-hmm. Which I recently found out is the point of fills, and I didn't know that for about my whole entire music journey. And you as a drummer might know that.
Oh yeah.
So like
the whole point of a fill is to lead
Can I
you
ask
into
a
a
question?
new musical direction.
Right, exactly.
I want to. Okay, I was going to ask you, like, how long have you been drumming? Because I've asked you this before, but just kind of refresh my mind.
What is it, like 16, 17 years?
And how did you start?
5th grade band.
Okay.
On the practice pad and snare.
And when did you switch over to kit? Pretty early on?
Yeah, probably only a couple years later. I actually quit band and bought a drum kit because they never let us play drum kit. It's like I wanted to learn to play the drum set, and there's no songs like that for band.
True.
When I'm exploring music, I'm always looking for chords and like interesting melodies and stuff. When you approach it as a drummer, like how do you like push your knowledge?
Sometimes I just try and figure out what other drummers are doing, and if I can't figure out how to do that, like one thing I learned over the past few years was just like triple hits with one hand instead of doing, because then you have your other hand free to do other things.
Okay. So you're looking for
just
like
as a little example.
So you're saying you watch other drummers and you try to adopt some of their techniques in some way?
I'd say I more listen to them.
Okay.
I don't really watch
too
many.
So you listen and adopt their techniques.
Right.
That's really cool.
Because sometimes you'll hear someone play something, you're like, wait, why can't I play that? And then you try and figure out how to do it a different way.
Do you listen to music then when you drum to try to match it? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So you kind of play by ear a lot in that way.
A lot, absolutely. That's how I taught myself.
Did you learn how to read music at all for drums in school? Do you ever do that now?
Not really.
It's more about ear.
It's more about ear.
That's really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious about that because rhythm is the last thing that I'm exploring in my musical journey. It's like been this whole year's endeavor. Like all of 2023 is going to be about studying groove.
Groove. Ooh.
And that's what I learned about. Fills are supposed to set up the next pattern. And I never thought of that ever in my entire life because